the wheel on like that. It's doing it again. Hello and welcome back to Meki's Tutorials. So today we are going to be building a wrestling robot. Now we're still using the infrared sensor, so there's no little lesson that I'm going to show y'all, but we will also be using our motors to make it move. So your first step, you're going to take a 3x7, well, two 3x7s, and then you're going to take your two motors. And if you look on your 3x7, there is the big hole right there. That's where the little white peg of your motor will go. So it should look like that. And then do the same on the other one. Okay. Now you're going okay. Before we move on to step 2, I forgot. There are the little short bosses. Those will go on the ends of the pegs. Okay, so it should look like that. And then step 2, you're going to take your wheels and all 4 of the 3 unit blocks. And then you're going to want some small screws too. Okay, so for the first one, you're going to put the wheel on like that. And if your wheel falls off, that's sort of a problem.
Do we need to get wheels for you again?
No. We can fix this in a minute. First, let's move on to the blocks. Okay, or the unit, yes, blocks. 2 short screws for each one. Those will go on the ends here and here. And then you'll just screw the 3 unit blocks on to the end. And make sure the pegs are facing up. Okay. Now, take my screwdriver and make sure everything is on its feet. Okay, that one is good. This is what it should look like. Okay, and then for the next one, same exact thing, put your 2 screws on the ends and then screw in your 3 unit blocks. Okay. Okay, so now, there. And then you put your wheels on the ends. They may fall off because for some reason they don't like to stay, despite that's up this direction side. Okay, so then you're going to take your 3x9 black frame piece and a 5-unit block and a 2-unit block. And if you look at the little diagram, it'll tell you where they go, which is quite odd. They marked it a little weird. Okay, so you have your big hole, and then right to either your left or right, doesn't matter, you want to put it on like that. And then your little 2-unit block will go right down the middle of the 5, like so. And then you're also going to take your domed supporter, and that will go on the end closest to the 5. It'll go at the bottom in the middle of the 3. So it'll look like that. Okay. This is really hard. Okay, there we go. Now after that, you're going to take your motors with your blocks, and one will go like this on that side, and then the other will be parallel to it. Okay, like that. And then you just want to make sure your wires are not in the way, because that would be annoying. Okay, so you can set that one aside for now. You're going to take a 5x13? Yeah, it's your 5x9, not 13. Your 5x9 frame, and then your 5-unit block and 2 4-unit blocks. Okay, 5-unit block will go on the end. I don't like the way they do that. That's not 5. Okay. Like so. And then your 4-unit blocks will go, there's going to be only one spot, and it'll be screwed in. I'm going to show you. Like that. And then you do another one on the other side. And this one will go attached to the previous steps. Okay, and whenever you're doing this, make sure your pegs are facing inward, just so make sure everything is straight. All right, now, I'll leave my wheels off for now. So your little, I don't know what to call this. This piece will go on top of the 3-unit blocks that are placed right in the back, and then it will go on top of the 2-unit block and the 3-unit blocks that are placed in the front. So it should attach like this. You're going to want to make sure it's on top like that. Okay. Moving on, that one can be set aside again. You're going to take your 1x1 frame connectors, your rounded frames, and 2 2x5s. Okay, you're also going to want screws and everything. So your 1x frame connector will go in the middle of the 2x5, and you're going to throw a small screw right there, and you're going to want to make sure you put it through the white first, like that, so you can screw the nut on the back and it'll match up with the frame connector, because as you can see, there is an outline for it. And the easiest way to do that is put the nut on and then screw in the screw. Okay, and then you're gonna take, after you have it looking like this, you'll take your rounded frame and on the third one, coming from the direction whenever it's facing out, so it should look like that once you've screwed it in. You will be done with that one, and then you can move on to the next. And you're just going to do the exact same thing on the next one. Okay. There we go. So that is the first one. And then you should be able to do the next one fairly quickly now that you've done it. Hopefully I can. Okay. And for the next step, you're going to need the long screws and nuts to go with them, and then you're going to need a 2x9 piece. It'll be another white frame, and you will need 4 long screws if you want to get that ready, if you're already done and I'm not. Okay, now that we have both of our pieces, I messed up. Okay, since it's left and right, they're not going to be the exact same. I just have to move my screw 1 hole over. So it'll be like this. Okay, there we go. Fixed it. Now we can move on to the next step. Grab your 2x9. That's not a 2x9. That's a 2x7. That's a 2x9. Okay, so you're going to take your 2x9 and you're going to take your little pieces that you just made and put, there's going to be an end that has 3 and an end that has 2. You're going to take the end with the 3 and put the top 2 on the very end of the 2x9. And put your screws through, and then stick your nuts on the end. I just can't build today. Okay. There's that one. And there's that one. Okay, next, do the same on the other side. And this piece will end up going on top of the piece that we just put on the main body. Okay. Got that all this will go on the 5-unit block right at the end of the piece we just attached. So it should look like this. Don't know if you can see it in that camera. Okay, after that, you're going to take your other 5x9, and then you're going to take 2 1x9 pieces, and those will go on the ends, but you're also going to take the last 2x5 blocks and put those where one is at the top and then the other one is 2 spaces in between that. Yes, so it should look like this. And then your 1x9 frames will go on the end of that, and you'll use a short screw. Okay. Screw it in on the other side. And then you're going to take your 1x5 and stick it right down the middle of your 2 here. Oh no. Okay. The way to make sure you placed your unit blocks right is you're going to need 2 holes in between the screws, where each screw is. So it should be right here. Yes, that's right. What I had before was not. Okay, once you have that properly done, hopefully you didn't mess up like I did, your 1x5 frame goes down the middle like that, and then you're going to flip it over. So when you put it on here, it's going to match up with the 4-unit blocks standing up. Just want to make sure it doesn't pops in there all correctly. So far, you should have this, and with wheels too. Okay, you're gonna take 2 2x7s, 2 3x3s, and then 2 2-unit blocks, and obviously some screws. This time you'll be using long screws and nuts to match. You're gonna want 4 each. Okay, so on your 3x3 frame, you can place the big hole down, and then your 2x7 will cover the 2 holes right above it, and make sure that your screw is facing up like this, so you can just screw the nut on there. So that's what it should look like, and then you'll put a 2-unit block on the end of that, so you have this little piece. And then you can do that on the other one. Oh, my bad. I'm missing a screw right here. So like that. Same on the next one. then those will be its arms. So they will connect right in between the two screws on the blue 1x9 frame. That's where the little 2-unit blocks will go. So then push those in, make sure they're on there correctly. So it should look like that. And then you can take your 2 eyes and stick them on. Uh-oh. I lost a piece of something. It's okay, I'll pick it up in a minute. It doesn't matter really where you put your eyes, it's completely up to you. I left 2 spaces in between. Okay, now on the back of that, you are going to now be dealing with the more software part. Okay, so your 2 battery packs will go on the back. Did I miss this time? Yeah, okay. I love when they just put pieces together and don't show you. Okay, so if you go back to step 9, whenever you place your little piece right here on, they also want you to place a piece on the back. That will be your 2x9, and it'll just go across the 5-unit block on the back. Now you can flip back to step 15, where you're putting on your batteries, because that's where they'll go. And you're going to want to make sure that your wires are facing out instead of in, so you don't have a whole bunch of confusion. Okay, 16, you're going to place your little motherboard on. That will go with the dots facing up, your orange buttons, and make sure it just lines up with the 1x5 on the back. Now, hopefully, oh, you also need your IR sensor. So grab that, and you're going to flip your robot over so you can see the very bottom. And where that domed supporter is that we put on in the first couple of steps, right here, you're going to place your IR sensor right after that. So that's what it should look like. And then you can place your wire back. You're going to find the little piece on your motherboard where it goes in. It'll be your input. It can be on either side of the input, it doesn't matter. I'm placing mine on the left because that's what it says to do. And then you can just plug in the rest of it, which is super basic, it just color coordinates. Batteries go in there. And then white is motors. Okay, so now that we have that all done, you can flip it on, and you're going to want to have one red dot. These things don't like me sometimes. Okay. Oh. If your wheels are not on, you can now put them on and then turn your robot on. That would make sense as to why it wasn't moving. Okay. goodness gracious, it is out of control. And you don't have a remote control for this one because it has the IR sensor, so it'll just go. So, if you want to learn about the way it moves, you can create the little circle or a circle, and then the IR sensor will detect the line, it'll know where to move, and
Is that what those boxes are formed for?
that's a more advanced project, but we might be able to do that.
Never mind.
Okay, so there's the learning about actions, and then there's the little tip for wrestling robot. It tells you a little game that you can play if you make another one. So that was our tutorial. We made a wrestling robot that goes crazy. Woo! All right, we will see you next time.